Hello and welcome to Excel Mathematics TV. This presentation will be about the volume of rectangular prisms. Look around you and you will see a lot of things that we can consider to resemble rectangular prisms. If you're wondering, a rectangular prism is a three-dimensional figure with 6 rectangular faces. Look at the figures below and you will understand what we mean. In a rectangular prism, the opposite sides are parallel and congruent. In this presentation, we will learn how to find the volume of rectangular prisms. But first, what is volume? In mathematics, volume is the measure of the space it occupies. Since we are talking about a three-dimensional figure, we should measure in cubic units. We can measure volume in cubic meters and in cubic inches. Look at the rectangular prism below. As you can see, there are 3 dimensions, and the volume can be shown using cubes. Let's analyze this figure further. The base is a 4x3 or simply 12 cubes. If we're going to divide the layers into equal height, we'll have 3 layers. As you can see, each layer has 12 cubes. Then the total of 3 layers with 12 cubes each will be 36, or we can solve it as 3 times 12 equals 36 cubes. Thus, the volume of the box is 36 cubic meters. Now, let's dig deeper and study the volume of rectangular prisms with further details. Look at the figure. From this figure, can you tell how to find the volume of a rectangular prism? If not, don't worry. We're going to study all together. The volume of a rectangular prism is equal to the product of the area of the base, B, and the height, h. That is, volume V is equal to B times h. The base of a rectangular prism is always a rectangle. So the formula for finding the area of the base, B, is equal to length, L, times width, W. Having said that, the volume of a rectangular prism is also equal to the product of the length L, width W, and height h. That is, V is equal to length times width times height. It's time to apply what we've learned and have some examples. For the first example, we will find the volume of this rectangular prism. In order to solve this, the first thing we need to do is identify the length, width, and height. Looking at the figure carefully, we can say that the length is 7, the width is 6, and the height is 5. Now that we've identified the measures of the dimensions, we will use the formula for the volume of a rectangular prism. Then substitute the values we've identified earlier. That is, L equals 7, W equals 6, and H equals 5. After that, just multiply them. Multiplying 7, 6, and 5 gives us 210. Thus, the volume is 210 cubic centimeters. Let's have another example. We will find the volume of this rectangular prism just like how we did the previous example. After identifying the length, width, and height, we can say that L is 14.1, W is 2.3, and H is 12.16. Then we will use the formula to substitute the values of the length, width, and height. And you know what to do next. Just multiply and we will get about 394.35. Thus, the volume is about 394.35 cubic inches. Let's solve the third one. A shelf measures 30 inches by 12 inches by 84 inches. What is its volume? This time we don't have a figure, but all the dimensions are given and the procedure is still the same. We always start by identifying the length, width, and height, and we have L equals 30, W equals 12, and H equals 84. It will get easier from here. Using the formula, we will substitute the values of length, width, and height, and we have 30 times 12 times 84. Multiplying gives us 30,240. Thus, the volume of the shelf is 30,240 cubic inches. Do you want to solve some more? We have a couple more examples. For the following examples, we won't have a figure, but don't worry because we can still solve them easily. Let's find the height of a prism whose base area is 24 square millimeters and whose capacity is 216 cubic millimeters. In this problem, the given is the area of the base and the volume, and we're asked to find its height. You might ask what the volume is. Capacity is another term for volume. First, let's identify the given values. We have base, B, equals 24 square millimeters, and volume, V, is equal to 216 cubic millimeters. We will use the formula V equals the product of B and H. Then substitute the values of B and V to the formula. In solving equations like this, the goal is to isolate the unknown on one side of the equation. So divide both sides by 24, and we will get 9. Thus, the height is 9 millimeters. We're down with the last example. Let's read and analyze the problem. Jean wants to grow some sunflower in 3 different plant boxes. She wants all the plant boxes to have the same volume, which is 350 cubic feet. Give 3 different ways Jean can make these plant boxes. Let's analyze the problem. So a plant box is a rectangular prism and therefore has dimensions which are the length, width, and height. We need 3 boxes to have the same volume, which is 350 cubic feet. Remember that volume is equal to the product of the length, width, and height. So to solve the problem, we need to find 3 different sets of dimensions that, when multiplied together, will give us an answer of 350. Any numbers will do, as long as their product is 350. We put the possible dimensions that have a volume of 350 cubic feet on a table. Thus, Jean can make 3 plant boxes with the following dimensions: 10, 7, and 5, 14, 5, and 5, and 25, 7, and 2. That's all for this lesson about the volume of rectangular prisms. The key is to keep solving problems to master this topic. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.